Here's White versus the Modern Lesson 4. e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, knight c3, c6, knight f3. There's nothing wrong with sensible development. d5. Now, of course, black can play d6, when play is likely to transpose elsewhere here with black when they eventually play knight f6. Note, for example, the move order in a game by Sutovitsky versus Hodgson, in which white plays the fifth move of h5. Now, bishop e3 and a4 are also equally good moves for white. So d5, h3. This is the main line. Black is prevented from exchanging off his potential problem piece on c8. Now, black's best bet here is f6, but there are two other important lines that are worth noting. Knight h6, it introduces a rather elaborate scheme of development where black plays f6 and knight f7. He will only be able to get away with such moves if he can hold the center. So white's most challenging line is one where he creates pressure against d5. This can be achieved by bishop f4, f6, e takes d5, c takes d5, knight b5, knight a6. Note that it is also possible for black to sacrifice material with a move like castle. Although white's response to it of knight c7 may well be in white's favor, he could also just play a move like c4. So now, there was another variation that we didn't look at. In a situation like this, black could also just try playing castles at this point, followed by queen d2, and that's pretty secure. Back to the main line. Knight f6, e5. Accepting the challenge laid down by black's previous move. The play here also bears some similarities to previous games that we've mentioned, and the theory is the same. Now, what about bishop d3? Well, we have here d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, castles, castles, knight d7, bishop g5. And this is also acceptable. So we'll go back here to e5. Knight e4, knight takes e4, and something like bishop d3, knight takes c3, b takes c3, c5 leads to a French type position where white should now probably take on c5 to prevent black from playing c4 next move. Knight takes e4, d takes e4, knight g5, c5. Otherwise, black must just drop his pawn on e4 for nothing. d5. Now here, it's worth mentioning that e6, after which black should sacrifice the exchange with f6. Or you could say bishop c4, which is more aggressive, but not particularly stronger. Oh, sorry. Knight g5, c5, d5, bishop takes e5, Knight takes e4. Castles, c3. Now, most commentators believe that white has an edge here. And this is a tricky line where it's very easy for black to make a serious error and end up in a very bad situation.